Okay, we are live.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Larimer County Commissioner Jody Shag-McNally, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon for our Estes Park Community Conversation. Really excited. Hope that you're nice and toasty warm on this very icy day. It's been a little bit tricky around the roads and stuff. And as you see behind me, this is Lily Lake, Estes Park, and I'm sure it looks just as beautiful today up there. I am really excited today to have our wonderful mayor of Estes Park, Wendy Koenig, here to share in the conversation. Really appreciate her participation and joining us and being here today. And also we have a special guest today, Heidi Pruess from Larimer County. She is our climate smart and sustainability manager. So she is going to be presenting on our, she's new in this program that we're in the process we're going through is kind of new to Larimer County. So I want to make sure everyone was up to date on that. And also we will be talking with Wendy and having some updates. There's been a lot going on. As you know, we didn't have any conversations in December, mostly because everyone's schedules are so busy at that time of year. And then in November, because of the fire, Kruger Rock fire, and that unfortunate tragedy, we lost the pilot, but we just felt it was out of respect. We canceled the conversation. We just thought that was the best thing to do. So I appreciate Wendy's flexibility with that. And with that, I also would like to thank Austin Harville from our community public affairs office, who's running our Zoom today, and just grateful to have everyone here. We're recording this, so folks aren't able to attend or come, we can always have this available for those who'd like to hear. So with that, Austin, or with that, Mayor Wendy, would you like to share some updates from Estes Park, and then I'll share a couple updates, and then we'll go forward with our conversation.
Yes, I'm happy to. I'll start with, I've got 3 updates to give, and we have 3 resolutions that have been put on the March agenda for the election on the ballot. And one is whether to permit publication of ordinances by title only in the newspaper, and then the full text will be on the town's website. And another one is to eliminate the requirement for payment of bills, contracts, and rebates to be published in the newspaper, and those would be published on the website. And currently they are published on the website. It adds a lot of time to do both the website and the town newspaper. So that's, and costs. So we're trying to streamline things, and the staff brought that forward to the town board. And our third item is debrucing. In 2000, our community voted to debruce a portion of Tabor, and now the limitations are such that we need to continue to debruce. The town will collect, retain, and spend or reserve all revenues it receives from all lawful sources. So I just wanted those individuals attending today to know that that's going on in Estes Park. And then the second one is on December 20th, Congressman Neguse visited us, and we walked the power lines for the Kruger Rock fire. That's hard to say. That's a tongue twister. And talked about the tree cable and things that we could do to mitigate fires in the future. Essentially, a tree fell down on a non-tree cable wire, and the tree was tall enough it fell from outside our area to take care of our easement area, and it sent a shock line up the power line. And I didn't know that all of the poles have a ground wire that runs down them to stop the spark from going up the line. And it happened to the third pole up, it started a grass fire, and that's what started the Kruger fire. So it's been investigated, and it doesn't appear that there was any fault. It just is something that happened. He also came and looked. We want to do a roundabout as you come across Lake Estes over by the ball fields. in the fairground so that traffic doesn't back up the hill, going up Pole Hill up 36. And we took him around and talked about our stormwater needs and continuing the Fall River Trail. We're going to have some workforce housing just before you get to the park at Fish Hatchery area that's going to be built. And so that'll help also with transportation of those people if they want to get on bicycles and things to get to town to work. And the last item is I'm a member of CAS, Estes Park is, because we're a mountain community. And CAST as a group would like some things brought forward to the Colorado legislature, and they have several items to be brought forward. We're going to go over those on next Tuesday night to discuss that so the public can see what those items are. And a number of those taxes like lodging tax, short-term rental tax, those things, we're not home rule, so we're a statutory town. So a lot of those items we can't do, but we wanted to bring it forth so the public understood what CAST was asking for. And that's all I have, except to thank you for letting me attend. And you're making me cold looking at the background picture that you have. Glad I'm wearing a sweater.
Well, you could, you know how much I love to hike around Rocky, and my backyard looks a little bit more colder than this. Could you tell me that you use the acronym CAST? Can you tell? I want to make sure I know exactly what that stands for.
The CAST, Colorado Area Ski Towns.
Oh, cool.
Colorado Association of Ski Towns. Yeah.
Great. Wonderful. Yeah, I know I've heard some of that work that you guys are doing because we've been hearing that through the Colorado CCAT, Colorado Commissioners and Counties Acting Together, and CCI, Colorado Counties Incorporated. So we've been hearing some of that you guys were looking into that. So I'll just give a couple quick updates because I'm kind of excited, a little bit related to Estes Park. I haven't talked about this with the mayor, but we've updated our office emergency management book, and we've kind of had a meeting earlier, beginning of this. The weeks are all kind of blurring together. I think it was last week or last Monday. And then we're refining some of our fire restrictions with some photos to kind of go along with what that means. And so and after the Marshall fire, there's been a lot of questions. So I wrote an op-ed that should be going into the papers regarding about, it's an opt-in system. And so some folks were saying they didn't get results. So didn't get alerts. So I'm looking to kind of help with that op-ed, trying to get people to understand they need to opt into some of these alert systems and what we have. And so I thought in March, Mayor, I was going to try to, it's depending on the pandemic, of course, but we're looking to schedule with you. I haven't talked to you about this, but bringing up Office Emergency Management and also CSU Extension, who has an emergency preparedness kit that they can share with residents and do kind of hands-on, what does it mean? How can you prepare? Why you should prepare, especially after the Marshall fire, and talk about how these systems work and how you need to opt in. So I kind of wanted to let you know about that. And we're going to be doing that in Loveland and Estes Park as part of my community conversations for March. So I hope that you might be willing to come with that, Mayor. And then we are looking at our opera dollars. We approved our budget. We're looking and working through our American Rescue Plan Act dollars that we were allocated. And we did some immediate needs grants, which we had folks apply for, and we had a very comprehensive process for our subject matter experts and to rate and score all of these, because of course we had like 90 organizations and municipalities kind of apply for these immediate grants. And so I think there was one for the Estes Park Recreation District that was approved yesterday, and some others. And then also, Mayor, you may know that there's two of your affordable housing, the child care and affordable workforce project, and the other one with the other project that the Castle Open. Those are two Estes Park projects that are something that we're looking at working regionally to maybe support, to bring forward to the state to get some of those state ARPA dollars to support those projects for Estes Park.
Great.
And
That'll be great.
So we're advocating for that. I don't know if you watched that or saw some of our other work sessions. I've been really trying to explain how innovative and exciting and important these projects are for workforce housing and for keeping families able to afford to live and work in Estes Park, because Estes Park needs those working families and the youth in there. So I wanted to kind of update you on that we're advocating and working hard to kind of see if we can get some of that support for Estes Park.
Well, I know Naomi Hoff, who's the housing authority, has been watching that. And then we have a family advisory group, and those members have been looking at what you've been doing for that. So we do appreciate all of the efforts. It's very important.
Yeah, and we're going to look at how else we can support. So just so you know, I know we had that meeting. It seems like a long time ago, but it was just December, I think, or November, where we came up and had those meetings. So I've been trying to share all that information. So just want to share that with you. I could go on. There's a lot happening. Commissioners work, 6 days, 7 days a week, and we're always working on stuff and meetings, and there's a lot going on. So, but with that, this is one of the things I'm really excited about. It's kind of new for Larimer County, and there's a lot connected, and a lot of it impacts kind of our forest mitigation and our solid waste and other things. And being on the Forest Health Council, as appointed by the governor, we had our meeting this week. And, that also is looking at some of these concerns. And there's Colorado this week, Secretary Vilsack of the Department of Agriculture made a big announcement about some like a lot of money. I think 3 billion, and I might be incorrect, but I think 3 billion is coming to Colorado for forest mitigation. And we're kind of on the top tier here, and they're looking to get something done the next year or two. So there's a lot of money and a lot of opportunity to do some of this mitigation work and proactive work. And at the Forest Council, we're trying to, we're going to be working on that and helping provide some direction. There's only 4 commissioners from the whole state that are on that. So I'm very honored to be able to serve our community and our region, but also just, Colorado in that way. And there's a whole bunch of industry leaders and stuff, but it's all related to kind of what I have Wendy coming to speak today. So without further ado, I'm going to have, I'm sorry, and Heidi present. Sorry, Heidi. I've been very busy today. It's one of those days without I've been phone calls and emails, but I wanted to just kind of turn it over to Heidi and let her present on this really important topic and how we're doing some innovative new things for Larimer County. With that, Heidi, it's all yours.
Thank you. Thank you for the introduction, and thank you for the opportunity to join you today and share a little bit about our Climate Smart Larimer County initiative. I am going to share my screen and get this presentation going. There you go. Can you see the entry screen there? Very good.
Yes.
Okay. Well, again, my name is Heidi Pruess. I am the Climate Smart and Sustainability Program Manager for Larimer County. And I'm going to share a little bit about this initiative with you today. It's a pretty short presentation in the hopes that there's ample time for any questions that there may be. And so here's the agenda. I'm going to talk a little bit about why is Larimer County involved in this initiative right now. I'm going to give you an overview of the initiative and then describe for you how you can get involved in the next steps moving forward. So why now? Why are we talking about Climate Smart? It's no surprise to those of us who live here that we are experiencing changes in our climate every day. We have more extreme heat days, as you can see here from this data. We have historically experienced a series of changes in our climate that are maybe a little unusual. Disasters, I think we call them. And there are things like wildfires, tornadoes, floods, and snow deprivations that are disasters. We also know that the way that we operate every day in our lives or in our work lives, personal or work, involves things that have an impact on that climate. Here's a little bit of a statistic with regard to how we move around in Larimer County. This is data that is specific to our county. So this is not state data. This is not federal data. This is our data. And it's important to understand how we move around because we know that 60% of our workforce lives and works in this county. So that means that whatever changes that we make in this county really can have an impact here where we're living. We also know that 11% waste diversion to recycling maybe is a statistic that we could improve. And we also know that air quality and water quality are things that we all need every day in order to live. It's hard to breathe when we have ozone action days, particularly for those who have asthma or other lung diseases. And if 12% of our county is in extreme drought, we know that we need to pay attention to how we're utilizing that water. So those are some of the reasons why, in addition to those statistics, we've gone out to the community and asked if people will be interested in changing how they work and operate every day to impact those climate changes that we're seeing. And you'll see here on this slide, the first two bars indicate, yes, our community members who are responding to this questionnaire say, yes, we are interested in making some changes. But part of the reason for this initiative is that third bar there that says, I need to know a little bit more first. So Larimer County began an initiative to think about climate smart and what is it that's going on and how can we react to that. Phase one of this initiative was completed in January of 2021, so just a year ago. And that framework was a document that was created by Larimer County staff. And I'll review for you a little bit what came out of that framework document. In addition to what strategies were suggested in that first framework, the main recommendation was you need to go out to the community and understand a little bit better when we talk about climate, when we talk about sustainability, what does that mean for our community and what kind of actions will our community be interested in us prioritizing? So that's the phase that we're in right now. Right now, we are seeking community outreach. And I'm going to go through what that process looks for you and where we are in the process. As we complete this phase of community outreach, we are going to be launching the development of a plan that we're calling an implementation plan. It will have a series of strategies, actions that go along with those strategies, and goals that we're trying to reach in the process. As we move forward into the future, there will be continued collaboration and community feedback as we go along. So although I'll describe a little bit for you where we are in this phase, just know that your voice is always important and we always want to hear from you. So that original framework that was developed in phase one included these 6 categories. And these 6 categories, if you look at them, it may appear, and that's because it's accurate, that these follow along county departmental lines. That made sense for the group that came together and put their strategies in their mind together to create that framework, but it may not make sense for how we talk about it with the community. But we're starting from this analysis that was done by staff, and we're going to build on it. This diagram is a little busy and maybe a little small print, so I'll describe it for you. The very top row there, this is the clouds. That's where we're taking the community framework, the Climate Smart Larimer County framework, which was developed by staff, and we're introducing it to the community. We want to understand where is the community when we talk about climate and sustainability, where do they stand? That was that first phase and the beginnings of our community engagement. We are now in the middle phase that you see with the raindrops there. This will be our Series 2 community engagements component. We have broken our effort into 4 categories instead of those 6 to try to get at the kind of language and the way that our community understands climate and the environment that we heard from Series 1. So we're going to be talking about our homes and economy, how we move, nature and land, and our overall well-being. Once we hear in this second component, which I'll describe a little bit more detail in a minute, once we hear all that information, we're going to combine the clouds and the raindrops together in our reservoir below and create an engagement summary that provides some strategies for moving forward. So this is kind of our phased approach for our community outreach. This is important because we need to understand a little bit more than what we heard in series 1 with our community engagement. Community engagement responses included some really great feedback about when you think about Larimer County and you think about our future going forward with climate and sustainability, what do you think about? So sustainability, meeting today's needs and thinking about the future was number 1 there on your bar chart. Quality of life and resiliency are things that we talk about every day. And those are components that our community is telling us when we think about climate smart, these are the items that we want to be sure are included. It was really interesting, I thought, to hear this 4th bar of feedback, which was innovation. So our community members are thinking about not just how can we do what we're doing today better, but how can we be innovative into the future when we think about resiliency and sustainability as we go forward. And you can see here, there's a number of other things, including partnerships and leadership, equity and fairness, that we are bringing into the fold as we move forward into our strategies and priorities in our recommendation report. So you'll be hearing more about this as we move forward. So here we are, engagement series number 2. These categories are our 4 raindrops that were in that one diagram. And what we're going to be doing in this engagement series is asking the community, how can we improve on these 4 areas? When we talk about our homes and economy, how can we improve the energy we use, the water we consume, where our food is coming from, how we're managing our waste, and those innovative technologies? We'll also be asking, how can we improve on how we move around? Not just us personally as we go to work or recreate or go to worship, but also how do our goods move around? Are we thinking about our transportation system from both an accessibility and a quality of transportation for both us as people and for our goods and services? Then we'll ask you, how can we improve on nature and land? We know that we have open space, natural resource, and agriculture activities that are happening outdoors. Sometimes they're in conflict, sometimes they are not. How can we improve on how it is that we're managing these resources that we have in our community? And then finally, we'll ask how we can improve our well-being. This is really getting at those safety disasters that I showed you in the first statistics there at the beginning slides. We know that we have a continuing disaster issue with regard to wildfires, floods, tornadoes, and the like. In addition to that, is our air safe to breathe? And do we have enough water and quality water for us to be able to sustain our well-being? So these are our 4 categories as we move forward. As we gather the outreach and engagement in this last community outreach series, we will be gathering all the data together. In the analysis step there on step 3, we'll be taking into account that framework from staff on phase 1. We'll be taking into account the community voice as we hear it from you in both the first series and the second series of engagement. And then we will also be looking and doing a scan across the US of like counties and like locations that have plans already. Maybe we can learn something from someone else. And we'll be combining all this analysis into a strategy prioritization that will result in a report of recommendations to our elected bodies. So here's the question, how can you get involved? These are those 4 categories, again, just as a refresher. Our homes and economy, how we move, nature and land, and our well-being. We'll be having a series of workshops in February 8th, 9th, 15th, and 16th. And I'm going to show you here in just a second how to get on those on our website. But Austin, if you want to drop into the chat our website, that would be great. Or I can do it if I need to. Each one of these days, at the 8th, 9th, 15th, and 16th, we will have a series of 3 workshops each day. 2 of those workshops will be in English on one of those 4 categories. The third workshop each day will be in Spanish in one of those 4 categories. So just as an example, on February 8th, we're having a 1-hour session on our homes and economy, a 1-hour session on how we move, and then a 1-hour session in Spanish on our homes and economy. And we'll flow through those remaining 4 days to be sure that we cover all 4 of these categories twice in English and once in Spanish. So as you go to the website that Austin has put into the chat, thank you for that, Austin, you will find this website. If you migrate over to the Get Involved tab that is highlighted there, it will show you ways that you can register for our events. On that Get Involved tab, there is a button at the bottom and it says Workshop Registration. If you select that, you can select one of those 4 categories. You could select all 4 of those categories if you wanted to give us 4 hours of your time to respond. And you can sign up for the virtual workshops that are appropriate for you. If there is some chance that you cannot attend one of these workshops that's virtual, we will be creating a questionnaire that mimics the information that we'll be asking within those workshops and go along with some handout materials. We will be posting those on February 8th. And if you are not able to attend one of the workshops, you will be able to attend or to participate via those questionnaires. Of course, at the bottom of this screen on Get Involved, which is below where I have the slide here, is an opportunity for you to sign up for our newsletter. And that's another way for you to stay engaged and stay up to date with where we are in the process. Of course, you can also follow us on social media. So there's Facebook and there's Twitter. I encourage you to follow us along, share this with your friends and family, share this with those folks in the community who may be harder to reach, maybe a little harder to reach, or maybe not following government activities all the time. So share that with them and get them to answer our questionnaire. That's the end of my presentation. And I am ready for any questions that you may have. I'm able to go back some slides, or I'm also able to go to our website should you have questions on that. But thank you for the opportunity to be here, and I look forward to your feedback.
Thank you, Heidi. Great presentation, and I'm really excited about the work. I was really proud to be able to attend the first kickoff stakeholder meeting. It was a lot of good information there. And I know we're signed up for some of these workshops. So I think there's one I think you signed me up for one, but there's one I'm still kind of like looking to get to the, there's one, the 4th one, I'm trying to remember what it was, the natural environment or something like that.
Sure.
I wanted to, so with that, Wendy, do you have any comments or questions you have?
Well, I already was jotting down a list of names of people to be sure that from Estes Park to be sure they know this is happening so we can help boost the attendance. We have a lot of individuals in Estes, and we have some advisory groups that are helping us in these areas too. So I want to be sure that we get them involved. And it's so nice to have you at Larimer County, Heidi, and I think you're doing a great job. I particularly appreciate that you also have a Spanish session, because we've got a very nice population here that's trying to get involved in our community more at the governmental level. So I'm going to be sure and let them know this is going on for them too. Have you posted it on Recursos Val de Estes? It's the Facebook page for our community. That I would recommend that you do. And we have people who translate it into Spanish if you need that done, but obviously you have people who can put it in Spanish. It would be nice to put it on that Facebook page. It's Recursos Val de Estes.
Thank
And,
you for that.
and that would be a great way to communicate.
Jason Danweber is on our task force and has been providing us with some of those links. And we do have communication materials in both Spanish and English advertising the workshops. And so I'll reach out to him and see if he can help me get it posted.
Yes, that would be great. It's a good place and they do pay attention to the Facebook page that we have up here for them. So thank you. And you're muted, Jody. There you go.
Yeah, I'm trying to be, respectful. I have a bunch of elk in my yard right now and the dogs are barking, so I'm trying to keep myself on mute so you guys don't have to listen to my dogs being cranky. With that, any other questions? Wendy, I really appreciate you helping make some more connections throughout the community because I know you've been phenomenal with your outreach with the Nepalese community there and the Hispanic community. And I have to commend you. It was amazing turnout and a great event for the Dia de los Muertos celebration at the community building there. I was so impressed. It was some of the best pozole I ever had, and it was just an outstanding turnout and outreach, and I really appreciate the partnership there. So I'll be there. I'm hoping they'll do it again. I'll be back for sure.
Oh,
That was a
I'm
lot of
sure
fun.
they're planning on it. It was lots of fun and they've done it before. So, but this was particularly nice to just be in a large area where we could all be safe and still get together, so to speak. So that was very nice.
I got my booster shot that night outside in the vaccine bus. So that was really exciting. Well, we have a hand up. So Austin, could you promote Joanna so she can ask her question?
You are able to talk, Joanna.
Yeah, are the workshops going to be done on Zoom or, not in person?
Yes, no, they will be done on Zoom. We transitioned, we didn't want to do that. We wanted to be up there in person. But with Omicron, our COVID situation, we thought it was best for us to be safe.
Good. And the other question is the early data that you showed was from 2016. Do you have more current data?
We utilized data that was available publicly to be sure that it had been verified. When we come out with our final report for this summary, we hope to update that information with anything that's more current, as well as when we move into our plan development phase, we will be working a lot more on our collaboration with partners who have the data that we really need to be able to understand the impact of our actions. So we'll be continuing to update that.
And thank you for coming.
Thank you, appreciate it. I hope to see you at a workshop.
You may, particularly if it's going to be on Zoom.
Oh, thank you for coming today and answering your questions. Do you have any other questions for any of us? Joanna, do you have any other questions for any of the rest of us? And I appreciate you being here today.
I think she's gone.
Okay, cool. Well, anybody else have any questions for today of where the mayor, myself, or with Heidi? Well, maybe you'll spark something as we continue our conversation.
I was going to ask Commissioner, there was those two questions I was asked by a community member, and I wanted to put those in the chat so that you and the mayor could answer them, if that's all right.
Yeah, I didn't see those, Austin. So yeah, are they in the chat right now?
I just put them in.
Okay, so the first one, are there avenues for the public to engage both with the mayor? Are there avenues for the public to engage with both the mayor and the commissioner? What about engagement opportunities for them individually? So, this is, so I've had this a couple times this week. So just so you know, this is our opportunity. I do monthly community conversations as a county commissioner. So these are a county commissioner and county opportunities to engage with the public. I'm different than other commissioners where I invite the mayors to come and be my guests so we can get updates and show our collaboration and how we work. I also try to schedule one-on-one meetings every month, which has been kind of off a little bit since November and December because of the holidays and stuff. But so this is just an opportunity because I like to have the mayors come and do updates and show the public how we can collaborate and work together. I also have other community conversations in Loveland. I do ones in Berthoud, and we will be doing community conversations as a board coming up. We have a COVID conversation coming up this Tuesday at noon that we're having a public dialogue about all things COVID, and will be facilitated by Michelle Bird, our Director of Public Affairs office. And Austin, if you wouldn't mind putting that information in the chat for those who are interested. Already, I hear we have over 200 people signed up. So it should be a pretty engaging conversation. It's kind of the first time we're trying to do this. We've had a lot of response from the public to talk about this. So those one opportunities. In the summer and this past summer, I did engagements where we would meet at the trailhead and Devil's Backbone and go for a hike, or I go and show up at farmers markets and we sit and have conversations. You can also email or give me a call. I can tell you I'm trying to keep my phone message box empty, but it doesn't stay empty very long. So if it's full, try again or send me an email. I do my best. I was on vacation for a little while, and so about 5 days, and so I'm trying to still catch up with some of those emails. So I'm not always good at 24 hours, but I try. And so I'm not sure I'm sure the mayor, I know she has office hours at the phone calls and stuff. So that's for me.
There's lots of opportunities to meet with me 4 days out of the week. I have office hours, and you're welcome to schedule by either calling me or calling the town clerk's office. An in-person meeting, you have to wear a mask to come into our building, but my office is large enough so we can get our 6-foot distancing in the office. And I do ask that you wear an appropriate mask to meet with me. I also meet with people on the weekends if they have special events that they want me to attend with. I'm happy to do that. We've got our mayor and commissioner Zoom, and we also have the ability at the town board meetings. We've been having in-person meetings, and our last meeting this week ago was a Zoom meeting because of Omicron. So we'll probably be doing Zoom meetings for the town board meetings at least into February is what the projection is for the spiking to continue with Omicron. So that's open to decisions from Larimer County and what's going on with Omicron. But there's lots of ways to meet with me, and my number at the office is 970-577-3706. If I'm not in the office, then that number rolls over to my cell phone. So the other night, I know Joanna sent me a text about 3 a.m. and it pinged in my bedroom. So, and I appreciate people being up and just communicating through our emails also. So there's lots of ways to get a hold of me and meet in person.
And I have the same thing. Thank you, Mayor. I know that you're, a lot of people talk about you get back to them with phone calls and things, and same with me. I do schedule some meetings in person, but not as much recently because it's hard with my schedule being so full, but I have scheduled some individual meetings. If it's, they're probably 2 or 3 weeks out at this point, and I do, if I am going to meet with someone, it's outside and with a mask on and in person, but I do some Zooms or some one-on-one phone calls. So I've been doing that a lot. I see the second question. I'll go ahead and tackle that, Mayor. Let me read it. And then I have, let's see. After the most recent fires, a community member was worried about the efficacy of evacuation routes. Are there updates on these evacuation routes for Estes Park? So, I talked to our Office of Emergency Management Director, and without knowing really about more information and concerns, it's hard. She's willing to have to reach out to this person. They would need more information to really understand exactly what their concerns are. But I can say right now with what she sent me, Estes Park and Estes Valley only have 3 primary routes for evacuation: Highway 34, Highway 36, and Trail Ridge Road when open. There's nothing that can be done about more major evacuation routes due to the topography of the area. And so if you're looking at more of a micro scale, you probably have to really consult with Highway 7. Yep, thanks.
Yep, Highway
and that's
7.
To the south. So yeah, and that goes to the south, I believe, right? And so if she is willing to I will, yeah, and she's willing to have, I'll forward that person's email to her for her to reach out to them for more information. And then also she also says the Estes Park Fire District is another agency to contact about this. So I see they have their hands raised. So Austin, why don't you let them ask that question?
You are free to talk.
So can you hear me?
Hi, Joanna.
Hi, this is directed to Wendy. I have never texted you, Wendy, and I certainly didn't text you
Oh,
at 3 a.m. So somebody else
I
might
said,
have.
I said text. You sent me an email on the town email, I believe. I'm sorry,
That's
I
fine.
used the word
And I
text.
don't think it was at 3 a.m. because I was sound asleep.
Oh, okay. I thought you were up worrying about stuff. No, I had a few things from junk mail too that were pinging me, and I just opened it and there you were. So as far as on our email for the town email, and I thought, wow, you're up wandering around thinking about things.
No.
So
No,
I
so
wasn't offended even if it was you. I do that myself. Sometimes I get up and I do things. So my apologies, Joanna.
I accept.
Thanks.
So Wendy, do you want anything about the other evacuation routes other than Highway 7 to add to that? But, I know that our Office of Emergency Management said, there's not that sometimes the sheriff and some of the emergency responses are kind of responsible for that. But I know that she's
Well,
willing to email them.
It depends on where the fire is, first of all. We've used 3 different routes so far. So it depends on with the Kruger Rock, we had Highway 36 was closed part of the time as an evacuation route because that was close to Hermit Park. So to expect that you have a standard list of evacuation routes, you have a list of possibilities, but then depending on where the fire is and what the logistics is, we utilize those different routes as is safe for people to exit. So that's all I have to add. You won't have a list that every time you can go down this particular road because it does depend on where the fire is. So.
Well, and as we know, the whole entire town of Estes was evacuated during the Cameron Peak fire, and well done because we had no loss of life. And as just to remind everybody, Estes Park was just minutes from
Yes.
overtaken, and it was so close. So again, thanks to the mayor's leadership and Travis's leadership, I hear he was one of the last people out. And so I just want to remind folks that everyone's trying to do the best they can. There's a lot of lessons learned, but we're in a whole new era of year-round fire season. As we found out from the Marshall fire, there's lessons learned from there. And also just, Heidi's this climate change that we're experiencing. So that's why I'm going to come up in March to do, as long as COVID lets us. If not, we'll end up doing it on Zoom, but we're going to do a kind of emergency management kind of focused community conversation in March on this. And also wanted to kind of remind everybody, and the Estes Park and the county are doing comprehensive planning for the area of the Estes Valley and town of Estes, and we're having some great community conversations together. And I think this is part of that comprehensive planning, how we prepare and plan and think forward, for the next 50 to 100 years for our beautiful and treasured Estes Valley and town of Estes. So I want to encourage people to get involved with that process and give their input and to be a part of that.
And I just want to add that at the particular fire you were discussing, we have great thanks and appreciation for the officers that came up from the valley to help evacuate us. So they came up and risked their lives to get people through the traffic, and we didn't have enough officers to do everything, and they came up and we just have such a wonderful relationship of helping each other. We're very fortunate.
Yeah, thank you so much. And also, with Boulder County, they've come up and helped us at that time, and we sent officers down to help and support them with their evacuations and to help them with, monitoring the neighborhoods. I do know some families that lost their homes, and some that the homes around them were lost, but their home was not. So it's very tragic. And I know we're all always part of emergency management is, they're always tweaking and learning and planning and preparing. And making sure those plans, I have a picture of the book. It's about this thick, the book that they carry around, and it's a very thorough document. So we're always constantly doing that. So I see another hand raised, and it looks like it's Kent. So Kent, Austin, would you mind promoting Kent?
And Judy.
Oh, hi, Judy. I should know, if it's one, it's both. Great to have you both.
Exactly. Well, all three of you should know that by now, probably. I just wanted to say that, in addition to getting us out of town, we had plenty of warning that time. And that was something that everybody coordinated on. And that was really helpful and wonderful, because we got the important stuff into the car and had other things squared away the way we needed to. So it was a long, drawn out, and scary proposition, but I think that's the key in any of this, is to have the early warning and say, okay, this might happen.
Yeah, and I think that's what we're hoping to do, is have folks kind of have that preparedness. And like I said, CSU Extension has some wonderful tools and a packet for residents to kind of think ahead. And I think the Marshall Fire, it was so quick. There were just minutes for some of those folks. So there's a lot. We're in a whole, like I said, we're on a whole new era, and we never thought it would race through a neighborhood like that in our state, let alone our region. And I know in my state forest health council, they basically announced that that fire is now the number 10 ranked fire for the nation as the worst destructive fire in the nation's history, which I really don't want us to be on any list like that.
No, I agree with that.
So I'm not proud of that being on that list, but we're going to work really hard at the state level in the Forest Health Council, and then with all the state agencies, and working regionally and with our partners as we work on using these funds and the Fireshed Coalitions and all this work going forward. And the state legislature is also looking at, there's I think 7 fire bills from the Fire Commission and the other legislative led groups that are going to be looking at this year. There's a lot going on, and we have 2 bills as a county that were have submitted, and one of them was submitted on the first day for code compliance officer protection, and then we're going to combine it with Representative Amable, who is now going to be your new representative up there, or will be. I think she's up for re-election. We're going to add and join her bill with ours in a committee. So there's a lot going on. And also the tiny home bill is another one that we're updating, that the county's running, that will be, hasn't been introduced yet. We're still quite tweaking a little bit of that bill language. So, but that will be being introduced soon. So there's a lot going on. So, but I appreciate you being here. Go ahead, Wendy.
Muted, Wendy.
I've got somebody at the door I need to talk to.
Yeah, Wendy's always, she's busy. She's busier than me sometimes, I think. So, which is saying something. So with that, any other questions today? I really appreciate Judy and Kent coming again and listening to this. I hope you'll attend some of the workshops. And cool, I'm glad to hear that. And Heidi, any other final words you'd like to share about this program and what we're doing and how, I really appreciate you coming today and sharing this important information.
Yeah, thank you. I think it's all about spreading the word right now. However it is that we can get folks from all 4 corners of the county to show up to the workshop and or take the questionnaire in this last series will really be critical in helping us set the priorities. So spread the word, spread the word, spread the word. That's the deal. We need to hear from you. We can't, we can always just make a plan, but then it's all about us, and we want it to be all about the public instead and what it is that we need to do. So appreciate your feedback.
Well, I'm hoping everyone on this call will take, maybe even share it with 1 or 2 of their neighbors. That would be great. And we would really appreciate that. So, well, with that, I know Wendy's, if we don't have any other questions, we can always honor everyone's time and try to get you back for your lunch area. But I want to encourage everybody who want to join the COVID conversation on Tuesday. I think Austin put that in the chat. It's going to be interesting. We're trying to prepare for that and see how that's going to look going forward. And again, I think we're working on February for a community conversation here. I haven't talked with Wendy, but I'm working on having another guest. It might be the district attorney. He hasn't confirmed that yet, but that might be one of our possible guests to talk about some of the changes and work that he's doing. We just approved a little bit of ARPA money for a new program for him for some staffing things they're just, as you know, COVID's really backlogged a lot of the cases and some of the actions that he's trying to take. And so there's a lot going on there that I thought maybe people would like to know about. But we'll see if he can't come, we'll have him come another day. But the rest of it, we're just really appreciate everyone kind of being involved and being around. And I appreciate it coming to our conversations and coming in to listen. So with that, I just thank everyone for their engagement and appreciate you coming and asking great questions. Continue to do that. If you have questions after this event, I'm sure you can find Heidi's email online, or you know how to get a hold of me if you have further questions. And about anything, always feel free to reach out to me in multiple ways and ask your questions or your concerns. But until then, thank you, Austin and Heidi and Wendy. And I appreciate all your time, and thanks to Joanna and Kent and Judy. And I think it was Janice, they have been there for a while. Appreciate you coming and being part of this conversation, and we'll look forward to seeing you next month. So have a great day, everybody. Stay safe, drive safe, take care.